Hey guys, welcome to Storytime with Quadavis the Poet. All right, guys, before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, share to all of your friends, and run those numbers up. I want to say thank you again for joining me every week. And let's get started with episode 3. So here's the backstory. I have to tell you this part so that you can understand what really happened that day and how pivotal this moment in my life changed the whole way of my thinking process. I moved to a different part of Bed-Stuy. Now, this was a block known for being hardcore, Hart Street, one of the toughest. Me and my family moved when I was 9. The kids across the street, they didn't like me because I spoke with an accent. Look, my family came from the islands, so I spoke like them. One day this girl said I was looking at her funny. So she stepped to me. All of a sudden, it's like the whole block showed up, surrounding us, chanting, "Fight, fight." I didn't want to fight her. Shit, I didn't even know her. Next I heard, "What's up?" Man, I swung, punched her right in the face, and it was on. Before I knew it, I was getting jumped by a bunch of 6-year-olds. They were punching me in my back and in my side. Yo, I had Shorty and I was not letting her go. I was swinging on her. Eventually, I did get out of there. I ran into my house and I went and got a machete. Came out with that shit and started screaming, anybody could get it. Now that brings us to years later. Now I'm a teenager and the streets of Brooklyn was my stomping ground. Me and my bestie at the time, Charlotte, used to ride our bikes all through Bed-Stuy. Now, Charlotte was a baddie. She turned heads in the hood real quick. She didn't even have to try. She just had it and a heart to match. But in Brooklyn, you don't say no to a hood dude. So we riding down Myrtle, chilling, and this guy on a bike stops us. He was trying to shoot his shot at Charlotte, but Charlotte had a man, and she was always about her dude. So she was like, nah, I'm good. When I tell you it had to be 3 to 5 seconds later, old boy pulled out a gun and pointed at the both of us. He was like, you think you better than somebody? She said no. Then he said, I asked you for your number, shorty. So that's when Naya jumped off her bike. We wasn't even riding together. I didn't speak to Naya. It was never no beef. But I remember when I was 6 and she was one of them girls out there jumping on me. So we just never rocked from then. But we did have mutual friends. Charlotte spoke to everyone in the hood. She was just a cool ass female. So I guess it was off the strength of Charlotte that what happened next saved our lives. It was in unison. Me and Charlotte running under a car and praying, saying shit like, God, if you get us out of this, we gonna stay in the house more. We gonna do right. And Naya walking up to the guy, grabbing him by his throat, saying, if you gonna use it, use it. Don't nobody over here want to talk to you, so beat it. While they was tussling, the guy's gun dropped. It felt like forever, but maybe 2 or 3 minutes passed. And then me and Charlotte came from underneath the car. Our bikes were there. There was no sign of Naya or the boy. Yo, from that day on, I had nothing but respect for Naya. We still didn't speak, but when I saw her in the hood, sometimes I'd crack a smile and keep it moving. Now that's what you call hood loyalty. Off the strength of my homie, I lived to see another day. As I became an adult, I realized that I go back to different parts of my life, and that was a real pivotal point in my life that helped me to understand that you don't got to be cool with everybody, but having mutual respect for someone else is just basically really common courtesy. Someone shows you respect, you show them respect, and hood respect is a different respect. You don't always have to be cool with people because everybody ain't going to be your cup of tea and you're not going to be their cup of tea. But just living in the same hood and going through the same situations and growing up in that same struggle of, being a part of Brooklyn at the time, it just opened up my eyes and I kind of, I started looking at life a little differently from then on. because that day I thought it was over for us. I ain't even gonna hold you. Me and Charlotte was done. And, it just goes to show you that, you could still coexist with people that you may not have a close relationship with, and have that respect. Have that respect between the two. And like I said, it changed the way I actually looked at a lot of different things in my life as I got into adulthood, and how I view people, how I move with people. Some people I may not like, but I may respect them. So that was story time. I hope you guys like it. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, guys. I want to thank you so much for your support. Every week you come and you listen, and I appreciate you guys. And just check the alert button so that you can always get notifications when I'm coming out with a new episode, which will be every Sunday night. Once again, this is Quadavis the Poet, and you know it. Love you guys. Bye.